guys, welcome back. Let's talk about percent word problems. The first thing that we need to learn is the following formula. And I'm going to tell you this is a very, very important formula that not only you will use in math, you're going to use it in accounting, you're going to use it in anything that you want to figure out the percent change. So it's very easy to do, and it's basically just going to be the change divided by the original and then just times 100. So let's do an example. Let's say that you had a stock on a cookie company, and then the stock was $100. Then all of a sudden people say, well, you know what, sugar is really bad, and the stock went down, and all of a sudden, if instead of $100, now your stock is worth, let's just go ahead and put something simple, $80. So you're kind of like, man, what is the percent change on my stock? Well, the first thing we're going to do is the change. Well, the change is going to be basically the difference between 100 and 80. So I can say 100 minus 80, and then the original is going to be who? 100, right? And this is equals to 100 minus 80 is equals to 20 over 100. And then times 100 is going to be equals to 20%. That means the stock went down 20% of its value. Very important. Now let's go the opposite way. Let's say that that you have your cookie company, and you wake up and you see that instead of $80, Kim Kardashian ate the cookie, and then people are like, oh my God, this is the best cookie. So your stock went from 80 to 100 now. Now, what is your percent change? Remember, the percent change is going to be change over the original. Now here, you're going to see that the change is still 100 minus 80, but now your original is changing. So this is going to be equals to 80. Now, what is it? The change is going to be 20 over 80, which, if you simplify that, that's going to be equals to 1/4, and then 1/4 times 100 is going to be equals to 25%. That means that your stock went up 25%. Now, this is very simple because you are basically just doing what? The change, which is the difference of whatever numbers are, always divided by the original. So let's take in consideration that at the beginning, the stock had gone from 100 to 80. That decreased 20%. But notice that when I went from 80 to 100, that increased 25%. Therefore, if they tell you, hey, it's the same percent change to go from 100 to 80 than from 80 to 100, you're going to tell them, no, it's not. Very important that you remember this. Now, let's talk about the other type of word problem that you're going to have in, the typical test. So the typical test will tell you, Vanessa made last week $300. This week, she got a raise, I don't know, I'm just going to put off 20%. What is her new salary? So basically, they're telling me, hey, out of 300 or out of that amount, you're going to go up 20%. What is going to be your new salary? Well, really easy. The first thing you have to do is to figure it out the 20% of 300. So you can rewrite this as 300 and then 1 plus. Now, instead of writing 20%, I need to write this as a decimal, right? And then I just do the math. Then I'm just going to go ahead and say this is 300 times 1.2, right? And then you can actually, let's say if you're doing it with a calculator, you're going to get 360. Now, if you want to just do this without the calculator, again, we can use a fraction. I'm just going to show you really quick. So you do 300 and then 1.2. I can rewrite it as 12 over 10. This cancels out. And then you just have 30 times 12 and you get 360. So you can do that way. Now, we have gone through percent change, increase and decrease, and when you have to add 20% of something. Now, let's say it's the opposite way. Let's say that my salary was $300, but now it went down 20%. So again, it's 300 and then, now goes down 20%. So I want to figure out what is the new salary. And let me put a unhappy face here because I lost that. So what I'm going to do is the same. I'm going to do 300 times 1 minus 0.20. Remember, I need to write that percentage as a decimal. That's going to be 300 times 0.8. That if you do the math, you can do 8 times 3 is 24. So this is equals to 240. Now you can also do this without a calculator. You can just rewrite this as a fraction, 300, and then you can do 8 over 10. This cancels out, and then look, 30 times 8 is equals to 240. We have a lesson on decimals that you can check, and you're going to see how I make these decimals into fractions to we can do the math faster. Beautiful. So for any word problem, remember, if you have to add a percentage, the typical questions are, you went to the meal, you had a meal and it was $10, and then you have to leave 15%. What is the final bill? So you're adding, you just do 1 plus the tip. So basically, all what you need to remember is the percent change formula, which again is going to be equals to change over original. So that's one formula. And then, of course, you're going to multiply by 100. If you're adding something like my salary, I went up 20%. Remember, you're going to put the initial amount or the amount, right? 1 plus the percent. This is like, when you're increasing something so much. And then if it's the other amount, the other way, you're actually going down, 1 minus percent. So I hope this was helpful.